What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Busy Sticks, the Geekiverse's all gaming talk show. Look at this. Look at this. We got a full house today. Some faces we've never seen on Busy Sticks. Super excited to get the full cast and crew here today. Man, thank you to all our new friends and subscribers tuning in. We had a big week last week. Hopefully you caught us over on Kind of Funny's Twitch. We got to podcast with one Greg Miller. We had the time of our lives. It was super exciting. So thank you if you're joining us now. Thanks to our mod, Tank Newton, if you're watching at twitch.tv/the Geekiverse. And man, we've got quite the show here today. John, we're going to start with you, Mr. Disruptoid, Baba Yaga. Can you believe that we recorded with Greg?
It was awesome, man. That like you said earlier in the pre-show, like not to pat our own backs here, but like that couldn't have gone better. That was awesome. We had a very good discussion. We paced it out perfectly so Greg can get out on time and be with his newborn baby. We didn't have to keep him late. It felt good. It was very good.
It was a great time. It's a memory we'll hold forever. Man, after going to E3 a few years ago and kind of the high of coming off of that, this felt very similar. It was just like, I can't believe that just happened. We're very fortunate to be there. Funny story on that real quick. The whole Baker's Dozen thing, I brought up Baker's Dozen on the show. And my parents are going to kill me for saying this, but my mom and dad watched the show. My mom texted me, love you, Mom. And she goes, how much is a Baker's Dozen? And I go, 13. I knew where she was going with it. And she goes, you didn't say that on the show. Like you implied it was 10. Did you get a lot of flack from the internet for that? And I go, no, Mom, it's a joke that's been long running with Greg Miller since his IGN days. It was kind of funny. My dad's like, I don't want any part of that. Don't bring me up. So sorry, Dad.
Now I'll embarrass myself because I still have an issue with the Baker's Dozen. Every time I always get in my own head about it. My thought process is, oh wait, is it 11 because the baker ate one of yours, or is it 13 because he made an extra for himself? So a Baker's Dozen trips me up. It's either 11 or 13. I honestly usually don't know.
I've never considered that. Oh man.
Yeah, first time I ever heard it, I'm like, well, okay, Baker's Dozen. Did he take one or did he make an extra? Like, I don't know what it is, but now
depends what kind of guy he was.
Yeah, it depends on the baker.
Yeah. Tim the Toolman Talbot. Do you like what I did there? It just kind of stuck.
What's that one? T2?
T2. I'm a nickname machine, good or bad. Yeah. Tim, joining Busy Sticks.
All right, Joe, nice guy.
Nice guy, Joe.
Nice guy, Joe. That was it.
Nice guy, Joe. Podcast. You're just on a roll here today. I like that shirt.
We're
by
ready.
The way.
Thank you. Good friend. I actually just paid you for it, so
it's a pretty shirt. I like it.
Thank you. It's the Buffalo Venom. It's pretty awesome.
I didn't even like Venom, but I had to buy that shirt. It's just so good.
Mm-hmm.
And then making his Busy Sticks debut. I haven't seen this man's beautiful face in a long time. A lot going on. JT, John, what's up?
What's going on with you guys? I'm just out here having some technical difficulties, but I'm here, happy to be here with my brothers and
can't be worse than Joe's.
Talk some games. Hey, I wanted to I shouted you guys out in text or whatever, but you guys killed it last week with Greg. Like I said, you guys, from my perspective, were super poised. That's a big name in the industry, and you guys just did your normal thing. You didn't overdo anything, and I'm proud of you guys. So. I had to come on after that.
Thank you, my friend.
I mean, I'm no Greg Miller.
See, I was
JT.
thinking it was odd. All of a sudden, we've got 4 people on the show. It's like interesting. No, I'm just kidding. JT and Tim, honestly, so I had my phone just sitting next to me throughout all of that stream. And to see you guys just kind of popping up with the encouragement and the positivity, it was really helpful because I'd look down and you guys would be like, hey, you're killing it. So thank you for being our cheerleaders. We really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
It really was awesome. You. So. Well done.
Yeah,
it's a blast.
You guys are the best. From a positive to a negative note, JT, I feel like we have to address the elephant in the room that is not public yet, but quickly, Harry Potter or Star Wars?
Oh boy, we're gonna start.
This
is the wrong show.
All right, we're gonna be here a while.
Your show's back up again.
No, we're not doing
Harry Potter, hands down.
Harry Potter. Okay, so there's one Harry Potter game in development. Can you explain to me why there's 8 Star Wars games in development?
Oh, he had a plan.
You talking about was it the Battlefront games that they keep multiplying?
There's 2 of them.
Right now.
6, 7, 8, 9.
There's
trying to match Battlefront with the amount of Star Wars movies that are out.
There's as many Battlefront movies as there are Harry Potter finales.
I mean, that is true.
He's not wrong about that.
We got 3
Look,
from Respawn. We got Lego. We got Ubisoft.
Maybe
We got
someday
Hunters.
in the future we do a Harry Potter review, then you guys change your mind. But for now,
Hey.
I personally am more of a Harry Potter fan.
As
But I
I
love Star
said,
Wars.
as I addressed on the last episode of Star Wars Reviewed, Return of the Jedi, which you are going to watch after this, JT, I did say, just for the record, I like Harry Potter. But, man, it was like dynamite went off in the group chat that day, and it was a blast.
You
If
know.
you want to get under my skin, you talk about Star Wars, damn it, and you did. You just knew which buttons to push. So
When
I
John
had to
woke
bring...
up, he chose violence. He just sent in the group text, "Hey, do you guys like Harry Potter?" And the next thing he says, "Yeah, it's better than Star Wars." I'm like, whoa. John
Dude,
literally wants
it's
to like.
exactly the face.
I was like, "Holy shit!"
It was
It's
like
starting.
he planned. It was like he planned it all.
Yeah.
I just
know,
looked down at my
and
phone and I was like, I'm a casual Harry Potter fan. And then he snaps right back
Oh.
and he's like, well, Harry Potter's better than Star Wars. And this was
And
me.
I know you're at work. You were like, shut it down, close the doors. I have to go to battle.
I couldn't get anything done after that. You just totally hijacked my morning. But-
Yeah, we can have that deeper discussion someday. for
I
sure.
haven't stated my opinions yet, so I will voice them at some point. It'll be an interesting
That was not
conversation.
nice guy Joe in that conversation.
That was not nice guy Joe. That was Sith Lord Joe. You better
Yeah.
look out for that guy. He's a bit of a tool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Busy Sticks. Just kidding. So we've got an awesome show ahead. We're talking Pokemon Legends. Arceus, have we decided there?
Arceus
Arceus.
is what they say in their marketing, but I still don't like it.
All right. So
Arceus, I don't know.
I will continue to ask every single time just in case there has been a consensus. And I think that's the only news topic we have. It's been a few minutes since any major studio bought another one.
Is it?
Joe,
open Twitter?
I have to check. Sony buys Bungie. So we're going to talk about that. Man, we just plan out Busy Sticks perfectly. Like it just falls on the right day every week for us.
It has.
It's always...
It's been wild.
Man.
I mean, it's just been such an incredible year so far with news. I mean, talk about releases all you want, but just the news that's happened in the gaming industry in a month, just 1 month in the books today, it's been insane.
So
the
since
craziest part is they said there's more in the works.
Yes,
when they
and
release
which
it, so we'll
I'm
talk about
so
that.
excited to talk about because there's something
Yeah.
something's happening.
So since Busy Sticks launched, this is episode 11, not 31, John. We've had Halo Infinite release. I care. We've had the Bungie thing. We had the Activision thing. We had Greg Miller. There's a lot of stuff going on. I think it's a good time to start a video game podcast or podcast if you asked him.
Yeah.
Just saying. So we're going to talk about a lot of good stuff today. You've got all 4 Geekiverse members here. Super exciting. But first, ladies and gentlemen, we don't just love video games here at the Geekiverse. We also like a good beverage to go along with it. So we've got some beers that we want to talk about real quick here. What's about to be in our system? Baba Yaga, I'm going to you first. What do we got on tap for today?
Got another fun one. So I've been on this Vermont hoppy West Coast style IPA kick. Even I know Vermont's not in the West Coast, guys. It's a style thing. So this is another one from Lawson's Finest Liquids. This is Kiwi. This is a double IPA. It's very good. I think I had this for the first time with you, Joe, at Murphy Brown. They had this one on tap. Actually, I think it might have been when the 4 of us were there, just doing some planning, doing some chatting. They had this on tap there. So they seem to have just canned a new batch, and it's made its way to Western New York, and I'm very excited about that.
It just looks pretty.
Does look pretty.
You're doing a nice job keeping consistent with the can art here that we've been nice colors and all that.
It's just a nice blue.
I have an aesthetic in my life. You don't, if you haven't noticed, I like blue. I like blue a lot. There you go. Almost everything I buy is like a shade of blue or like teal. It's just like my thing.
It's okay. As I said today, like purple and orange controllers for whatever. I was waiting. There it is, JT.
JT, how much do you want for those, bro?
$5,000.
Got you on Venmo.
$1,000.
Yeah, that's great. So, Tim, what are we about to drink here? The big reveal, because pre-show I wasn't convinced that was a beer.
It is the infamous no-name beer.
Are you not familiar with the fact that all other half have the green tabs, Joe?
Yeah, that's easy.
No,
I thought you knew.
messing.
I always show him a beer like this.
I've been messing.
3,000 or something?
Okay.
Dude, I drank over half for like the last 5 weeks on
I am
the...
drinking
Over half or other half?
Dream. By other half, it's
Double
my last
mosaic.
one.
Good stuff.
my last one. Then I got to take a trip to Murphy Brown's to pick out some new beer. So
Well,
if anyone's trying to get a drink, let me
Sounds
know.
like an invite.
So I'm
I'll see you there.
been dying to crack it. So
Yeah, that's really good. I want to say I had
Yeah,
that a
that's
few
good.
episodes ago. Very, very good.
you had other half last week too with Greg, right?
Yes.
Yes, the Motuka Mosaic or
Yep.
vice versa.
That was honestly probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Is him
Dude, that was
literally
awesome.
sprinting out of his chair, and I was like,
John
"That's
called
awesome."
it. He said when we were at Murphy Brown's planning this show out, he's like, I wouldn't be surprised if Greg just ran and got a beer when we mentioned that it was
Yeah,
beer
it was
show.
awesome.
It was almost
Perfect.
scripted.
That needs to be clipped out.
That is pretty great. Yeah. JT, what we got going on?
Hold on, I gotta roll this up real quick.
Oh my God, it's gonna be a Bud Light,
Oh,
isn't
I
it?
know what it is.
Yes, sir. It's been a minute since I cracked one of these.
Uh-oh.
Yo, liquid
Oh,
lollipop. Peach
snap.
I knew it.
tangerine fluff from Froth Brewing.
Did you get that when we went?
This is one of the ones we swapped.
Okay.
I think you
Be
got
careful.
this one and gave me. Oh, I almost killed it out.
I was gonna say.
You got this one, I think, John. And I think we traded.
Okay. I'm glad that went well. Those beers have been known to have a shelf life, not in terms of like when they're Best Buy, but when they ferment in the can and they explode. That's happened to me multiple times.
God.
I
So-
definitely did a little shot up, but I'm
Dude,
all good because
I've-
the rest of my mouth.
I've had one literally erupt like a volcano when I've opened it before. I've opened it and it just goes, and half the beer's on the table.
God.
That's happened to me before.
I haven't even had
Saying
this one.
I-
They're so
I
good.
do have a gift card to Froth that I am needing to use. It's like $20 if anyone wants to.
Tim,
Also invite.
I was just
I
like,
just-
just
I'm
saying.
trying to make
Froth.
some friends. You know, you
Guys,
been a little lonely lately. You know,
JT with the first liquid lollipop on the show here. Unbelievable.
Breaking your ground.
I gotta say,
So good.
whatever the blue one was, like I can't remember from that trip, Blue Hawaiian maybe.
Something like that, yeah.
I had one can left after that trip. I still have it. And right before Lauren got pregnant, like she doesn't drink beer at all, but there were certain sours she would have and be like, "Oh yeah, I like those." And she liked a sip that she had of a previous Froth I had. So seeing this can I had being pregnant just a few months, I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to have this thing." She's like, I want you to save that one." I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "Yeah, I want to have it in the hospital after I give birth." And I was like, "But I want the Froth."
That's
She's
awesome
like,
though.
"No, you're gonna save it." So I still have it. I think we went in August. It's in my fridge. Soon. We're gonna have
Yeah,
it soon.
That's super cool though.
Hopefully.
celebratory.
Yeah. So no surprise here. Going back to one of my favorites. I've got Thin Man Brewery's Bliss.
Oh, that's a
Ooh.
classic.
It's a classic double IPA, 8% on the dot.
When they release the double dry hop Bliss and you find that, scoop it up. It is so good. That is
I
like
was at Thin Man. We did an escape room. I don't know if you guys like escape rooms or not, but if you ever dive into them, they're a ton of fun. But I was at Thin Man and I had their, like it was like a sherbet, like a sour. It was so good.
interesting.
It was so good.
All right, gentlemen,
Delicious.
cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, boys.
Full house here in Busy Sticks.
Look at that. Good stuff. All right. Now that that's in our system, what's really in our systems? What are we playing on PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo? Where do we go to Tim first?
Why don't-
You've got kind of a full plate.
Full plate is an understatement. So I started to dive into Deathloop and started to play it on stream a little bit. Enjoyed it, but I think there's bigger fish to fry, and that's kind of where I was at with Deathloop. I liked it, but I think I needed to dive a little more time into it. I enjoyed it. Shooters have ruined my life, so I've become too competitive with shooters, and if it's too easy, I'm not. It takes me a little bit more time to get in. That being said, I am diving into the new Pokemon Legends game, Arceus, whatever it's called, to be determined. But I'm loving it. It is a lot of fun. I know John's been playing it as well, and it's just a lot of fun. I just love how different it is. I think that's my biggest critique of it right now is, maybe in the environment, it maybe lacks a little, like, as far as like more trees and a little more love put into that, but it doesn't matter. It's just the game's so well done. I think it's enough to not make a difference. So, it definitely gives me some Persona vibes when I listen to the town music and stuff like that. So, and then also Horizon. I got to get that done before the new one comes out. So,
And have you played Horizon before? Or is
No.
this the first time?
first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So funny story. I actually started playing it. I heard the Steam Deck was coming out. And I was like, oh, I don't need to play it. I'll just play it on the Steam Deck when it comes out in December. Well, no Steam Deck. So and here I am like, okay, well, now it comes out in 18 days and I have to play it. So,
Oh my gosh, we're so close.
yep, I'm
So
excited.
close.
Then I have 7 days to beat that before Elden Ring comes out. So it'll be
You can
a
do
quick
it.
week. I can do it. I'm confident.
I know you can do it.
Yeah,
JT, what have you been playing?
So because of Arceus, Seius, Prius, Toyota something, I
Made podcast, same thing.
I got back into Pokemon. So what I did was I thought I have my Nintendo 3DS still, and I thought I didn't finish Pokemon Sun, but I did. So I did finish Pokemon Sun, but I reset it or started a new game for my little cousin. So then I hopped into Sword, which I only played literally like 5 minutes of when I had the Nintendo Switch Lite. And then the PS5 came out and I just stopped focusing on anything Switch related. So now I'm playing Sword and I'm addicted. Like addicted.
Yeah,
I
'cause-
found out that there's a way to bring in, I guess, your like Pokemon previous gen Pokemon into, at some point within Sword. So
yeah,
I'm gonna do
Pokemon
that.
Home for sure. It's
'Cause my little brother told me about like he found my black version at home and he has two. For whatever reason he had two. Well, obviously one wouldn't be mine. He went and he's like, oh, all your Pokemon are like level 70 and blah blah. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna use them when I get to the end of my sword battle. Or, it's just timing wise, right? Like he just sent me a text and sent me a picture of my team or whatever. So playing a bunch of that. I don't want to play Arceus until I finish that. Just
interesting.
preference wise. I know two totally different things, but I'm just more so don't want to fall into the Tim thing where, oh, I'm so into this, but then this new thing's coming. I'm gonna stop playing that for a while, and then I'm back to square one and not playing that for
Welcome
months.
to my life.
Yeah, I try, and that's why I follow. I mean, John, we talked about this in even in private discussion, like falling back to Fortnite or falling back to COD. It's so easy. It's easy. It's easy. There's no commitment. There's no. I mean, you just play and that's it. Right?
You drop in for a game, or you can spend 20 minutes. You can spend 3 hours. However it goes. But JT, I'm surprised, man. You used to be super into Pokemon. Like you and I were like you were my go-to. Like whenever a new Pokemon dropped, it was you and I talking about it. I remember when
we get it together. Yeah,
right. When I first got my 3DS back before X and Y came out, I had missed all the DS games, so I went back and bought them. And like you were replaying them alongside of me. We were both working at Spencer's, and like we were playing. We had both had our 3DSs on our lunch breaks, like playing Pokemon. Yep. So you were always my go-to Pokemon guy for a while. So I'm glad you're getting back into it because as we're about to talk about, Arceus is sick, dude. Like it is Sword and Shield. To be honest, we talked about on our previous Geekiverse video game podcast, Geeks Got Game. RIP. Sword and Shield was fine. It was just more of the same. Like I've just been so ready for Pokemon to break the mold. I just never thought it was going to happen because it's a kid's game. Like surface level Pokemon is a kid's game, and if you like that formula, awesome. They're going to keep putting that out, and if you want more out of it, you have to do the work. You have to get into shiny hunting. You have to get into competitive, training your EVs and IVs and breeding and stuff like that. Surface level, it's going to be a kid's RPG with fun creatures. So I'm like, I don't see them ever breaking that mold because it's printing them money. So I didn't have much hope.
Right.
But Arceus, man, such a welcome surprise.
The art style is awesome.
I'm
obsessed with the art style.
I know we're not going full blown into this discussion. All right, yeah, okay.
But I will talk more. Yeah.
Joe, what have you been playing?
Nice guy, Joe. What have you been playing?
Well, when you put it like that, so I've been really only playing and focusing on. It's weird because I want to get through it, but I really want to take my time as well. So I'm only playing this right now. It's Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection. I dove into Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, over the weekend. Downloaded that right after our podcast on Friday night. And man, I was just so overdue to play Uncharted. Last game came out in 2017. It's been a while. So I've been craving it and couldn't wait for this to get here. Yes.
I have a question. Did you mess with any of the graphics modes? I know you're kind of the guy that just boots up the game in the way that it's set. You're probably going to run with it. Have you messed with the 4K? Have you messed with the 120 frames per second yet?
If a game has those options, and a lot of games on this generation of systems do, I try them each out. Typically.
Okay, got it. What are you playing on right now?
I am playing on whatever the balanced mode is. I don't recall what it is. But it's a good mix of resolution in the 60 frames per second.
Okay, I want to try because I think there's a 120 frames per second mode. which I think it probably drops down to 1080. But for someone like me who has a 4K TV but sits like 6 to 7 feet away from it, anytime I enable the 120 hertz and it drops down to 1080p, I can't tell from that far away. I can't tell that the game is running in 1080 until I walk up and like to grab a drink, and then I see like the menu that's paused. I'm like, oh, that's pixelated. I'm standing right next to it. But when I'm sitting 7 or 8 feet away from my TV and I go from 4K to 1080, the human eye can't tell the difference. I don't know. I don't care who you are. You're not seeing that resolution difference from that far. So I want to try out the 120 hertz once I finally get to that game.
I'll tell you this. It all looks beautiful. That game originally, I mean, you played on PS4 today. Original PS4, not even the Pro, still looks beautiful. But this one it's the finer things, man. It is well done. Can't wait to see what a brand new Uncharted game would look like. And then I'm going to jump into Lost Legacy right after I'm done with this. I'm about 12 hours into Uncharted 4 here. So I've made some nice headway over the weekend. But yeah, that's it for me currently. John, anything new to report in terms of what you're playing?
Just Arceus. So I feel like we should dive into that conversation because there's a lot to say.
Well, I have show and tell.
Oh, yeah. Let's get that show and tell. Let's get that show and tell, baby.
Let's get that out of the way here. Show and tell item. So it's on me this week. Like I said in the pre-show, it's down in the basement, and I was looking for something else in just a bin that was I was looking for a controller basically, and I came across this, and this is not like the fancy lightsabers that you see behind me or the one that John has that you see over on Star Wars Reviewed. But this, it's so funny. I remember getting this right after Attack of the Clones came out, and it's one of the oh my gosh, who used to make these? Kenner, I think. This is a Mace Windu lightsaber.
Yeah, it is.
Cool.
You kind of see the purple there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So the tie-in here, of course, we're talking Star Wars. We're smack dab in the middle of Star Wars Reviewed. We're gonna we're gonna talk about Phantom Menace later on tonight at twitch.tv. Yeah, / the Geekiverse. This here, so purple. I have the purple DualSense. Why I love this thing is it's a mistake. This lightsaber does not exist in the Star Wars universe. So when Mace Windu had this lightsaber, you'll see this hilt in Episode 1, Phantom Menace. It's a blue blade.
Huh.
Obviously, we never see that on screen. This is like, nerd level Star Wars stuff. In Episode 2, when he has the lightsaber, it is purple, but he's got like that white and gold fancy Sam Jackson lightsaber hilt. Like it's just next level. That it was something that like Sam Jackson came up with George Lucas. So that's why I like this, because like this thing doesn't exist. And I remember seeing it. It was like holiday, it would have been, I don't know, 2002 at Target. And I was like, I gotta get this thing. It's wrong, but I just love it because they're not going to put out the real Mace Windu lightsaber. So that's what I got here. It's one of the ones that kind of like, slides out.
Elongates.
You have these lightsaber battles in just crazy times with all your friends. Good times indeed. JT, do we have a bonus show and tell or no?
Yeah, I'll do it for the heck of it.
Let's do it
for the heck of it. Two things. So I went and bought new Crocs at the Croc store in the Outlet Mall.
What?
And yeah, and I bought this little guy to go on the Croc.
That is cool.
Controller.
I was about to say we're about to have two non-gaming related show and tells. I'm letting Joe slide, barely letting Joe slide because there was some games announced.
I got this like 5 years ago as a Christmas gift. It's just like a little stocking stuffer, and the person that bought it for me said I needed to eat it, but it has like 300 grams of sugar in it. So I didn't eat it, and I just keep it up in my office.
Is that chocolate?
Cool.
Like full on chocolate?
Yeah, it's a gummy.
Oh, that's a gummy?
Oh, good God.
Yo, I would eat.
She's like, "Are you gonna eat it?" I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna eat it. I'm saving this."
I want to eat it.
I would have eaten the shit out of that.
I mean, right now it's probably really bad.
That'd be gone.
Bro, I would have
be gaming one
I
day.
would have started. I would have started with the thumbsticks.
Honestly, there's probably so much sugar in this thing.
You don't eat it all at once.
No.
I'm
calling it right now.
How long it's gonna last? It's gonna last forever because.
What's gonna happen is JT's gonna have a banger of a game come out. He's gonna be addicted to it, and he's like, "I'm in my office. How far of a walk is it to your fridge, JT?"
Yeah.
It's not too far.
Far enough.
Far enough.
Like, that gummy controller is looking mighty delicious.
Dude, I would have.
I
would have been snacking on that.
I'm gonna hashtag not an ad for this, but these are my absolute favorite snack ever. So I always have these on deck. Always.
I don't snack.
I can't.
I don't ever. I'm not a snacker.
I'm not a snacker in general at all. I'm a meal guy. I get my meals done.
I'm a coffee drinker.
but I definitely would not snack while I'm playing games. That's like a no-no. I can't even be in the same room.
What do you mean? You don't like touching your controller and
Dude.
your keyboard and
Ugh.
Doritos? All Dorito fingers.
Nope, not even close.
No,
So
just let me get Dorito fingers and grab.
I'll be honest,
Joe's
I'm like
baby
playing
blue
Honestly,
controller.
wait, if I remember correctly, John was a big proponent of like because people were like, "Oh, the PlayStation's gonna be white. It's gonna show like so much stuff on it."
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Who cares, right?
I mean,
I don't know.
no, well, so I mean, there's a point to that. My point was, no, it's not, because the entire Xbox 360 generation was white controllers, and those held up fine. That plastic doesn't like get dirt and grime on it, but it wasn't about food. I don't eat while I can't.
Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough. Fair
like
enough.
if I accidentally have something greasy on my controller, like I will instantly clean it. Like I have alcohol wipes, like in every room in my house. I have isopropyl alcohol wipes. I'm always wiping stuff down. I'm a freak.
Well, we knew that, but hey, good stuff. It's almost as crazy as
220, baby. And there's a controller in it too.
Courtney. John might throw up talking about a dirty controller.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's almost as crazy as like not eating popcorn because you don't have floss.
I got a show and tell for the Star Wars show.
It's almost like Joe should have saved his for Star Wars, and maybe we could have just had a crossover, but no.
Get off my back. Listen, Star Wars is always in season, okay? And maybe just one of those 8 Star Wars games is going to feature an incorrect Mace Windu lightsaber.
That's true.
I have
no
an
way to know.
answer.
Got to
I
cover
have
your
my answer
bases.
for that question. I've been saving it to say.
For which? Hold on. Which question?
You had a question you posted on Facebook about the new Star Wars shooter game. I have an answer of my
Well,
favorite.
Oh, that's a
I
whole
was thinking
topic. We have that's a topic
And
of
I'm
today's
not saying
episode.
I was letting you know I have something to say.
You better have
Later
a
on-
topic.
Later on in the show,
I got something
we'll
to say.
get
To you.
there, okay?
I'm just saying. Just thinking
Next
about Star Wars,
Last week we had a question of the week, and
All right, I'm out.
what do you want to see in Respawn's Star Wars first-person shooter? Got some responses here, unsurprisingly. Sean Patrick says, really want to see something in the Reign of the Empire era. Ryan, I love you, man. Dash Rendar. I like that. Classic. Kevin, one of my favorite Star Wars games remains Republic Commando, which I just played if y'all have been watching Busy Sticks. He said, I like to have a team with different skills and controlling them. And then David Duncan, a Dark Forces remake in line with the current canon. I like that a lot.
Ooh,
I
interesting.
think it would be awesome.
I've got a community answer as well.
Go ahead.
This one is from a man named Greg Miller. Greg Miller, kind of funny. We did pitch him this question last week because we gave him all of the questions of the week, so he was the first one to answer it. But if you didn't catch that episode, Greg said he wants to see The Mandalorian. So he said he's sick of playing as a stormtrooper, sick of being boots on the ground, Star Wars militia type stuff. Mandalorian's a great option for that. You got a boots on the ground gunslinger. What better time and what better way to work in your biggest name in Star Wars right now probably is the Mandalorian.
Yep.
That's your
For sure.
That's your marquee character. So I think that's a great idea, and I'm with him. That'd be sick.
Mandalorian is like the biggest sub IP Star Wars has, and they've
Yeah.
got to capitalize. I have to
There's no
think
way.
one of those games is based on Mandalorian. I just like, how could it not be?
So I have a question within that question though.
Okay.
So
Meta.
with Fallen Order being canon,
Yeah.
are we expecting most of these new games to continue to be canon? So with the Mandalorian, I mean,
100%.
would they go pre, the first season, or would they go during and kind of just intertwine it with?
I would imagine they would go. It would be a prequel to when we started off season 1 of Mandalorian. I bet you it's a
Okay.
it's an earlier Din Djarin. He's probably a little grittier, a little darker. We're going down some of his bounty hunting excursions, and that's pre Grogu, so he doesn't have that that little bright spot in his heart. He's just gunslinging, bringing him warm or cold, baby.
I like that.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome to resurrect some things, some aspects from 1313, the canceled Star Wars project that we saw some footage from this week, which is bizarre and leads me to believe maybe some of that is happening. Not necessarily literally a new 1313, but maybe they're taking it in a direction like that with Mando instead of Boba Fett. I think that would be awesome. The whole with the canon thing, JT, like everything Star Wars, I think pretty much is canon now. Like it's before Disney and then after Disney is kind of how it goes. There might
Right.
be some minor exceptions, but like the KOTOR remake, I don't know. You can kind of get into the weeds.
Star
on
Wars
some of that,
Visions, but that was like a very clear this is a specific artistic
A
vision we
reimagining.
had. Exactly, like where they couldn't have been more clear. Like, hey, we're doing a non-canon thing. Like this is our exception to that rule.
So I guess my question too is like, what do you think is the purpose of making it canon? So like when you look at Fallen Order, none of that is actually connected on what we've seen on the small or big screen, right? So like Disney
That's not
Plus
true.
or
Yeah, I thought it's connected, isn't it?
I mean, well, first of all, it's canon, but
Fallen
they're
Order. Well, it's canon. I know that, but I'm saying like, where have we seen that on the big screen?
I mean,
you're saying like
Pick in
the
between,
story's
yeah.
not directly tied in necessarily.
Yeah, I see what you're
Right.
saying.
Right. Yeah. I mean, right. It could. Maybe that's the purpose and what they're going to plan to do. But for now, I hope. I mean, we haven't seen it. We haven't seen it on Disney Plus. We haven't seen it
right,
obviously
but
in the movie.
I mean, yeah, that's what I was saying. There's plenty of little things that exist in Fallen Order that also exist in Disney Plus shows and stuff. Like things there are things that started in Fallen Order that have been brought over to the shows. Not
like
story.
general themes, not story.
No,
but
I mean
themes.
like
Yeah.
physical like droids that only existed in the Fallen Order game have made their way to the Star Wars
Fair.
ring. So stuff like
Fair,
that.
okay.
But just to answer your question, I don't think we don't have to see those storylines add up. I think they're very much content with telling us a narrative story in a video game format and maybe taking some of those, maybe taking characters in the future and, just sprinkling them in. I don't think we're ever going to see Cal Kestis on the big screen. I don't
Crossover, right.
Yeah.
Right. I don't expect it. It would be awesome if we did, but they don't have to. I think that just because they want to make everything canon doesn't mean that they literally have to, if he's in a video game, we got to put him in a movie now. If he's in a book, he's got to be in a game,
They definitely don't have to, but I feel like maybe it's some sort of like marketing ploy too, right? It's like, hey, this guy could end up being in Star Wars Episode 10 or whatever, for example.
Right.
Just throwing something out there.
I think
you want to play our game now, right?
No,
Like,
no
you should
doubt.
play our
For
game.
sure.
So I mean, it's hand in hand for us as fans. Personally, I'm like, yeah, I want to see that on screen, and then for them, yeah, we want to sell more games.
There's
you know what I mean?
There's certainly
I think
some.
they do that to a degree.
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying, JT.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not spoilery, but like the most recent Book of Boba Fett, you see a BD droid, like the little droid from Fallen Order, and
BD-1, yep.
like I swear I squealed. I was like, oh my gosh!
I literally
texted
clapped.
John right away, and I was like, I can't tell you what just happened, but like, oh my gosh, you're gonna know it when you see it.
I texted you the exact same time.
He texted me the next day. So being Jedi Fallen Order fans, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we just saw that. Even if it goes nowhere from
so
here,
cool.
and it was just the type of droid.
So subtle things, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it
So
was.
question
Does that so
for you
well,
guys.
I think.
Go, what's up, Tim?
What kind of, so this is when we first posted that, there's a game that immediately came into my head that I wanted to be like, the gameplay to be like, because there's a game that I've always loved as a kid growing up that was pretty awesome, in my opinion. But I know, obviously, I think we all kind of think maybe The Mandalorian is going to be like, I just don't see how they could not capitalize on that right now.
I would say that's not a shoo-in at all. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a completely new, Star Wars
awesome if
idea.
It wasn't. I think it'd be cool to just do something new. But
Right.
when I first thought of it, I thought of a game that I wanted it to like be like. And the first game that came into my mind is Star Wars Dark Forces, because when I think of a shooter, I think of that because it's kind of got that Doom style of gameplay where, you could get some exploration, you get some exploring, and I think it could be very well done just kind of with the new Doom that came out, kind of like mimicking a little bit about what that did and putting it in the Star Wars style.
So here's what I'll say. We're talking about Respawn. We're talking about a studio that was built off the backs of developers that made Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the first one, right? We're talking about a studio whose first two games were Titanfall 1 and 2 that were like some of the most critically acclaimed first-person shooters of their time. And then the second one, they happened to make a campaign, which is one of the most critically acclaimed first-person shooter stories and / campaigns that we've seen in the last couple of decades, right? People love Titanfall. Certainly didn't get the success it deserved. It was stuck on Xbox for a little bit. I love Titanfall. And then what did they do after that? They took those mechanics and they put it into a new format that people are loving, and they gave us Apex Legends, right? So my bet, if I'm dollars to donuts here, take Titanfall 2, take that experience, this linear first-person shooter with the top-tier first-person shooter controls, a very interesting story, very interesting puzzle-related gameplay like Titanfall 2 had, and just slap a Star Wars skin on that. And I don't mean that literally. Obviously, it's going to be lovingly crafted, and we're going to get some very unique ideas, but take the format of Titanfall 2, and I think that's where Respawn's going to go with this first-person shooter.
Did they say it's going to be a single-player campaign, or did they say anything?
No.
So what are the chances that everything's kind of shifting to a multiplayer style game. What are the chances that it's all multiplayer?
It could be, but I feel like if it was, they would present it a little bit more that way.
Yeah,
Like,
I would agree. I'm just saying, like, devil's advocate here.
Chances.
What if it was?
it could be. It was vague enough. All they said was FPS, right? Like, they didn't say story driven, to my knowledge. They didn't label anything like that.
I just think that the reason they wouldn't go that direction is because that's where they just failed with Battlefront. Talk about the redemption story all you want with Battlefront 2 and how that game is obviously very good right now. Didn't sell well and didn't do very good in the press. And that was.
I thought there was 9 Battlefronts.
That's what John said at the top of the show.
No. There's going to be 9 Battlefronts.
Right.
15
different.
So,
15,000 Battlefronts.
So
I will say one thing that I'd want to see in an FPS though, and it kind of speaks to what Joe said as far as Boba. I would like a Boba and Jango like going into the past, going into the future, kind of seeing both, right? Like I want to see more Jango. I wouldn't mind it. And obviously knowing Jango's story, how it affected Boba, what we're seeing in the Book of Boba as well. So, that'd be kind of cool, I think. And it's, the 2 most famous, whatever you want to call them, first-person shooters in Star Wars. So
yeah,
I like that idea.
Great call.
That's really cool. Bounty Hunter was a very good game back in the prequel eras. That came out right around 2002. They could really do a lot with that. I think.
I'm just thinking, whatever we see, we're gonna see something like AAA quality, high polish. Presentation wise, it's gonna be Fallen Order, but just first person shooter. Like it's gonna be that. That's what I think we're gonna see. But certainly could be wrong.
3 good quality games. I think I'm hoping for.
No, one's an RTS, so
Yeah, so 3 good quality games.
I mean, yeah. Well,
Halo Wars was great, wasn't it? Isn't that an RTS or no?
Couldn't tell you.
Oh.
Wouldn't tell you. Wouldn't tell you if you paid me.
Let's test this theory out. So wouldn't pay John.
Yeah, go there.
Stop it.
I'm gonna Apple Pay you.
All right. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, we've had a lot of big studio talk. We've had collaborations. We've had some major purchases here in just 1 month's time here in 2022. Whether we're talking Sony with Bungie or we are talking Microsoft with Activision. Our question of the week. We want you to get involved, whether that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, youtube.com/thegeekiverse, or even in the chat on Twitch. Are these studio consolidations cause for concern? What does that mean to you in terms of big business, in terms of what we'll see in content in the future? How does the model shift? We want to get your thoughts on it. And we'll have a little bit of a discussion as a follow-up on that for the next week's episode of Busy Sticks. And we'll get into it in just a moment here. But are these studio consolidations in the video game industry cause for concern? Speaking of which, boys, Sony, they bought a studio, a beloved studio, if you were an Xbox longtime fanboy, such as myself. But it's very exciting because I think they're going to be taken well care of here. The story from IGN.com. Sony Interactive Entertainment has announced it will acquire Destiny developer Bungie for $3.6 billion. Again, George Lucas, come on. Go see if Disney will give you a little more cheddar for Star Wars. Only $4 billion. Come on. GamesIndustry.biz reports that following the deal, Bungie will run as an independent subsidiary of SIE and will remain a multi-platform studio with the option to self-publish and reach players where they choose to play. Bungie is best known as the creators of Halo, but since becoming an independent studio, have focused their efforts on Destiny, a live service FPS RPG, where players can explore the galaxy as Guardians of Light. The company is also working on a new IP. We've had a strong partnership with Bungie since the inception of the Destiny franchise, and I couldn't be more thrilled to officially welcome the studio to the PlayStation family, says SIE President CEO Jim Ryan.
This is fascinating, man. Like I think the easy thing we can jump to is like, oh, Sony reacted to the Activision purchase. Don't be naive. These things take months before you can even talk about it. These things take months to even come to an agreement where you can make that decision. There's a bigger conversation to be had that both Sony and Microsoft are in a situation where they are buying up publishers. That's a real conversation. So there's certainly something happening in the industry that's affecting them both, that's making them both want to purchase up studios and developers. That can't be ignored. Obviously Microsoft has the capital to do that on a much larger scale, so that certainly something there. But so interesting, man. Just the way I would have never expected this to happen, with the caveat that Bungie's going to continue to be fully owned and not owned, but fully operated with their current existing leadership, and they have the option to continue to self-publish if they want, and they're still going to be multi-platform. If you were to tell me 3 days ago that Sony's buying Bungie, I'm like, all right, lock it down. That's huge. Sony's gonna make Destiny exclusive. Maybe not Destiny. Maybe they would have continued supporting Destiny, but
new IP that they're doing. They
exactly
made that exclusive.
Destiny 3 and then this new IP and all these games are going to be Sony exclusive. That would have been my gut reaction, but it seems like they, just like Microsoft, they want to get into this publishing business. They want to get into this business of managing studios that are doing work for other people. So it's interesting times.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent on that. They have to be coordinating this in some way, because just with everything kind of being bought up this way, you're seeing a lot of, hey, we're gonna go cross-platform. You're not seeing a lot of, hey, this is gonna be something I'm only gonna do when it's gonna be exclusive. And I feel like PlayStation more than Xbox and Microsoft, in a sense, have always kind of had the exclusives.
Yeah, they play hardball.
That being said, I feel like just in the past year or two, you've seen Horizon come to PC. You've seen
God of
War come to PC. You see a lot of that stuff happening, and I think that you're kind of seeing a trend in what's happening, because, in my opinion, from a business perspective, when you look at the companies, you look at one giant company who sells an Xbox and a PC, and you have one company that sells, the PlayStation. I know for a lot of other people, if I didn't have a PC, I'd own an Xbox, because there's games on Xbox or friends that I want to play with. And vice versa, like owning a PlayStation, where I feel like this kind of monopoly, in a sense, of each company is creating a healthy competitive environment for both Microsoft and Sony, because you have a lot of the multiplayer games where you want to play with your friends, you can now, but there's a reason to just own a PlayStation, and there's a reason just to own an Xbox, because Game Pass is awesome. I don't own an Xbox and I have Game Pass,
right?
Because I can get it on my PC. So I have an Xbox Game Pass. I also have a PlayStation Plus membership. If they didn't have games that I can only play on Xbox, or have some reason to be part of that, why would I ever own that? So
sure.
I think I'm the biggest proponent of that. So
it's something interesting's happening. So a quote that I can't stop thinking about since all this started going down is right after the Microsoft and Activision, I almost said merger, but that's a straight up purchase. So after Microsoft purchased Activision, Phil Spencer, there was a comment that Phil Spencer made that like the industry is in a very healthy place, and there are certain companies in this industry that we trust to keep it moving forward. So he mentioned Sony and he mentioned Nintendo. And there was another comment in that same interview where he said, our biggest competitors in situations like this are the Apples, Googles, and Amazons of the world. So it almost seems like the gaming industry, your Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, are starting to realize that these other big companies are realizing the money in gaming, and they're starting to kind of consolidate for preservation. That's my running theory, is that the Microsoft and Sony are out there spending money to preserve the gaming industry as it is, so you don't have these Amazons and these Googles coming in and purchasing these studios and monetizing these games in very predatory ways. I honestly think there's a lot of discussion to be had, and that was our question of the week, obviously. I think that the intent behind this stuff is good, because you're spending a lot of money to make this happen.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's so interesting, like, the angles that could be taken with this. Like, it's funny because you think about how really even already the industry has shifted, right? Where PlayStation nailed it last generation with those exclusives, and because of the time they invested in those studios, and it takes time to make a video game, right? Like a lot of time and effort, and to make a AAA game that is revered and sells well on one platform is an accomplishment. And Sony did it time and time again with the PS4 generation. There was no shortage of titles. Xbox didn't have that. They got behind early with what they were doing with Xbox One. They made some poor decisions early on in marketing and direction with the TV stuff, and they paid for it that way. And I think, we'll never know the behind the scenes stuff, but to me, it was like towards the end of that generation, especially with Phil Spencer in charge, they were trying to catch up. They were trying to buy studios to build exclusives, it felt like, that could compete with Sony. So you've got your Halo and Gears, right? Like, they bring back Fable. There's all these other games that they have in development that are not, they don't have the name recognition that some of these Sony platform games have. But then I think something went off, like a light bulb, so to speak. And they were like, what if we buy some of the biggest names out there in gaming to not necessarily take away the ability for those games to go on other platforms and be exclusive, but to rake in the money from what those games do. So you're selling your games on Nintendo platforms, on PlayStation platforms. And we've seen it now with Bethesda, with Activision. Like this is crazy. If you would have told me a year and a half ago that all this is
Activision
happening,
blew me away.
Right,
I could not
Activision
believe
was
it.
crazy. That was like a almost like a doomsday scenario.
For
like
sure.
You would be like, what?
And
But to have that, and to have, like we talked about it, right? Their logo saying Xbox Game Studios, wherever you're playing Call of Duty in 2 years. That's crazy. So I think, Microsoft jumps ahead that way and pivots because of the success of the PS4 generation with these exclusives in a way. And now PlayStation almost, again, this is not reactionary to the Activision stuff, but maybe they see Bethesda happen and they say, hey, maybe we should look, because they've had a few acquisitions, not of this scale, but they've had a few in the last year where they buy up these studios, and like Bungie is the biggest name yet that they've had to deal with. So there's a little bit of back and forth there, and it's not necessarily a competition. I mean, yeah, it is. It's
of course
business,
it is,
right?
but yeah.
But
When you say that, it means it's a competition.
Yeah, no doubt.
well, it's what I'm saying is it's not like what I'm trying to say is it's not reactionary, like
Yeah.
the internet is saying.
Right.
It's not
100%.
like, this is our business. We got to buy this to catch up and all that. But I
It
think
doesn't happen. They don't get the announcement and like, oh well, I'll buy it. It doesn't.
right. The best businesses take what other businesses do well and make it their own, and they either make it just as well or they do it better. And I think they've recognized that a little bit.
We talk about business. There's bad business too, right? So if take the one last week, if Activision gets purchased by Microsoft and Microsoft says, hey, guess what? Call of Duty's only on Xbox right now. Well, that's bad business. You are taking that away from so many other gamers. Somebody who may have a PlayStation also, and they see a decision that you made that's an anti-consumer decision, and maybe I want to support Microsoft less because of that, right? So there's certainly a balance to making these huge industry-changing, purchases. But you mentioned the point that why not purchase these studios and reap the benefits? Now Microsoft owns Activision, so they get all the money when it comes to Call of Duty sales. But it's also mutually beneficial. You bring up Bethesda. Now Bethesda can operate their studio with Microsoft money, right? So we've seen a couple of their projects kind of stumble out of the gate the last couple of years. Same thing with Destiny and Sony. Now you've got Sony money. Sony's not nearly as big as Microsoft, but they've definitely got some capital to help that studio run and support it with resources. So again, there's conversations to be had about monopolies and whether or not this is good for the industry. Looking forward to seeing those responses next week. But I think at face value, this is a good thing. I think that you're seeing. And again, it's not Sony and Microsoft like running in with a bulldozer and buying up shares and taking over these companies. These are all mutual decisions. Like these are studios that are like, you know what, this agreement seems good for us. That money's going to help us. Your leadership, X, Y, and Z. Like I think it's healthy for the industry, but obviously only time will tell.
And it really matters who I've said this. Whatever company it is, small scale like the one I work for, or a large scale company like a Microsoft, it matters who your leadership is because it is top down in terms of culture, in terms of philosophy. Phil Spencer has talked the talk and walked the walk so far. They positioned Xbox as kind of the good guy, right? Like, hey, we don't care where you game. Hey, we want to be friends with PlayStation, with Nintendo. Like this whole mindset of you can only have one, you can only be a fan of one. Like that's not, like, get out of here with that stuff. He has really taken the bull by the horns and made that a thing. So if they were to buy a Bethesda or Activision and be like, yeah, they're all going to be Xbox exclusive moving forward, like you're out of luck. That would be a little bit against that mission statement.
Absolutely.
To be able to game wherever you want to game. Maybe that's not just necessarily literally on Microsoft platforms, whether it's on your phone, your tablet, your PC, your Xbox. Maybe it's you're going to play Xbox games, but you're going to play them on your PlayStation, meaning an Xbox Game Studio game, like the next, 2 Call of Duties away, whatever have you. Like, I think there's something to be said for that. JT, hit us with your thoughts on all of this.
Honestly, I just kind of want to double down on what John said a little bit. So, for me, you look at all the people, whether streamers, general gamers, they have their complaints about certain games, right? Destiny's servers are off, or their content's not the way we want, or same with Call of Duty, whatever the case is. Now you're giving these studios more money, better people, better resources, which so then in turn gives us the better product, right? So again, face value, it get these big studios to support, or I'm sorry, these big companies to support smaller studios, and in the end, who's going to be happy? Us.
Right.
And that's because they're making the money.
I don't care about the battle between Micro. I mean, I make jokes, right? Like, oh, Sony did this because of Microsoft, whatever. It's all joke. I think most of it's just people overreacting, stuff like that. But in the end, I want better gaming. As a consumer, that's all I care about. The monopoly stuff, people will get into it. Will it bring the quality of gaming down? Personally, I don't think so, because I think that for the most part, both Microsoft and Sony have basically committed to letting them operate the way they did, right? They're just going to give them the more resources, the more money, and allow them to do better.
Right.
So in the end, what does that do? It helps us as gamers.
Right.
We get better product. I don't have to worry about my servers going to crap every time I play COD. I don't have to worry about the new game that comes out and needs to get delayed 3 times because nothing's up to standard. That's not going to happen with these big companies supporting these smaller studios.
Another point I want to make on that is so somebody might be in the comments rolling their eyes, like, everybody wants to make money. Microsoft's going to have the same incentives to do the same things because they want to make money on Call of Duty too. Okay, sure. If you want to put a blanket statement around that, sure. But when Activision is operating as an independent company, they're out for one thing and one thing only: Activision's bottom line. Everything they do exists to make Activision money and to bolster the Activision brand, right? When Microsoft owns Activision, their bottom line is to make sure Xbox stays a good brand. So if they introduce these predatory monetization practices, that's a hit on Halo. That's a hit on Xbox Live. That's a hit on Game Pass. They can't afford to drive a game like Call of Duty into the ground because they have so much else at stake. Whereas Activision, all they had was Call of Duty. All they wanted was your money.
Activision and Call of Duty, they I feel like they fell victim in whether it's a studio or people who were in the studio. People are going to buy us no matter what, right? Where companies like Microsoft and Sony, they have this high standard they expect all of their games to be, and now these studios are with those companies, and they're going to force them to operate that way. And again, it goes back to us as gamers. We get better product out of it. So, I get it. There's always a fear that there's going to be the battle of cross-platform or not and stuff like that. But we're in 2022, man. Like enough with I'm going to pick Xbox over PS. I think Microsoft does have some pressure of PS4 being such a high-selling, high income generating product. But if everybody's great, we're all happy.
But I feel like from a business perspective, I don't think the PlayStation exclusives are a bad thing, or Xbox exclusives, because it encourages someone to own a console.
Agreed.
Because, if I'm PlayStation, I want to share with Microsoft, but I also want to give people, encouragement to play a game that I produce that you can only play. Like, perfect example is Horizon Zero Dawn or God of War. You're going to own that. You buy PlayStation to play that game. Right. And it's a game that you are obsessed with. But eventually coming out to Microsoft is saying, like, hey, I know maybe you couldn't get to PlayStation, but eventually I'm still going to allow you to play my game. And it works good in the sense for PlayStation because now, guess what? I didn't get a chance to play it. Now I'm buying it at a full price on PC.
Right.
I'm glad I am, but not everyone can do that.
Right.
So,
and it's you pick and choose your
healthy competition.
It is. And I don't think you're going to see PlayStation exclusives go anywhere. This is Sony buying Bungie and letting them operate as a independent entity for now is very much Sony dipping their toes in the water and trying the best of both worlds. All these other acquisitions, all these other studios Sony has purchased in the last couple of years, you're not going to see another an Insomniac game come to Xbox anytime soon, guys. Like they are sticking with their business model. They're making quality exclusives over there for the PS5 that you can only play on the PS5.
And Game Pass, I think, is huge for them too. I think that's their
no doubt too. Right,
25 million subscribers. That's
crazy
for sure. But my point is, this Bungie purchase was the perfect opportunity for Sony to dip their toes in the water and say, okay, really not much of a gamble for us here to buy this studio because Destiny's going to continue to make a ton of money, and of course their next IP is too. So let's scoop them up. They're obviously willing to be purchased. They want some structure here. So let's do that. Let's let them do what they want to do. Let's let them continue to produce their games for Xbox and for PC, and let's just see how that goes. We're over here. We can't keep PS5s on the shelf. We've got no issue here, but let's try this too.
And it's a business mindset.
You mentioned the Game Pass thing too. Sorry, not to interrupt, but so. Could Microsoft technically, I guess it's technically a question, could Microsoft say, all Call of Duty is going to be on Game Pass from now on day one?
It is.
They don't even need to say, hey, it's going to be exclusive. They're just saying, hey, pay $14.99 a month, and you're going to get this game for free.
JT,
100%.
for sure. And
That is
they
happening.
did that with Bethesda. With
Right.
hey,
Right.
basically the Bethesda library.
Right.
It was parceled over a few months, but like you can go back, play some of the original Dooms on there, like Elder Scrolls, all the
Right.
Fallouts, like it's all there.
Right.
So
They don't
that's
have
a
to
great
say the
point.
word exclusive at
It-
all. I mean, they
sure.
have the product there that you guys just mentioned. I think did we talk about this, John, or any of us talk about this probably? That they expect to have 50 million subscribers in the next 3 to 5 years or something.
I mean,
Maybe it was an
makes
article
sense. I
read or
mean,
something like
they're,
that.
they're at 25
it's
now,
just
so I can certainly see
going
that.
up, and now with these studios, I mean, just when that was announced, how many more subscribers did they get? You know what I
Well,
mean?
think about this. Like
Come on.
from a gaming standpoint, I don't know. I don't know if it's this year's Call of Duty, but for example, when you get the next Call of Duty and you're able to play it day one on Game Pass, geez, like why would I ever pay for that on PlayStation?
Right. I'm
You know
not
what I
buying
mean?
it on PlayStation. I'm not. Yeah.
It's
Right.
crazy. Yeah, like
Especially with cross-platform play. Like, why would
Right.
anybody
There's
that
no
owns
incentive.
both an Xbox and a PlayStation, or even just a PC and a PlayStation, why would they buy that game on PlayStation? They can still play with their PlayStation friends with cross-platform. Like,
I'm wondering if Call of Duty will move. This is Call of Duty specific. I don't think every game will do this, obviously, but if Call of Duty just moves to, like, we're gonna put one game out called Call of Duty, and we're gonna give you content yearly that's
platform?
added to it.
Yeah.
Just a general.
I think it's possible.
it's interesting. I think
it's gonna happen.
I think
it has to.
I think you're either going to see that, or what I do think. So I think that's a great point. That's definitely possible. I've been pushing for like Madden and NHL to go that route for years. But what I think is more likely, I think you're just going to see more time in between Call of Duties. I don't think you're going to get Call of Duty as a yearly release anymore. I think you're going to see Microsoft say, okay, we've got the money now. You've got the resources. You don't need to crunch to get a new Call of Duty out every year. We're going to put one out. We're going to make sure it's unique. We're going to make sure there's a hook to it. We're going to support it for 3-4 years with new content. And then 3-4 years, we'll get another Call of Duty game. So I think that's what's more likely, but we will see a shakeup, though.
Well, they could do that, or they could keep the current model, but say, hey, with our resources, now we're going to give you the team and the manpower to do this without crunching and being miserable and whatnot, right? Like they have the resources to expand that. So like there's no shortage of options or directions they could go with this.
There's only so many resources you could throw at a studio to put out a AAA game with a new unique idea every year, though. It's just tough.
To see them not do a Call of Duty or we talk like Madden or FIFA every year, I don't think it'll ever happen until people stop paying for it. Like there's no way. It's just too much money.
I will go out there. I'll bet you on it, man. We'll come back to Busy Sticks episode 300 in a couple of years, and we'll talk about this.
No. Let's bet on it.
Let's do
bet
it.
on it.
I'll do it.
You two go. Whoever loses has to come back on Busy Sticks and eat the death wings.
I knew you were going with wings.
No.
I knew you were 5.
What is
2?
No.
Suicidal, if you
No.
will.
If I win, you have to you have to reimburse me. You have to reimburse me for all of the money I've spent on Game Pass between now and then to play Call of Duty.
No way.
The year is 2050. Hey, Joe.
I'm broken homeless.
No, just a friendly bet. Just a friendly bet. I'm just confident that we're gonna see a shakeup in the way Call of Duty is developed. I just think so.
So
you have to add something to it.
Hang on.
It's
So
fun.
John is predicting there will not be annual Call of Duty releases starting when?
So
This is the bet.
So that's already. I think
This is the
they're already contractually obligated for the next 2 or 3 years, I believe, to release Call. That's already leaked that they are contractually obligated to release the next 2 or 3 Call of Duties on PlayStation. So I think that.
So we think through 2024, because that would be the next 3 annual releases.
Yeah.
So you think possibly 2025?
You don't get a Call of Duty. Yeah.
All right. Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hold on. Hey Siri, remind me on January 1st, 2025 that I made a bet about Call of Duty. There we go.
Yes.
Reminder is set for January 1st, 2025.
Good to go.
So kind of adding into that a little bit. Do you guys see Blessing thought that Game Pass will come to PlayStation at some point?
It's a conversation that we've seen happen. I mean, like, so the first natural evolution was when is PlayStation, when is Game Pass coming to Nintendo? Because Xbox and them have been so friendly. I just don't think you'll see it because what's the benefit for PlayStation to do that? Why would they okay
I don't think it's
that?
gonna happen either.
That was
years
the
we
rumor
thought
it was the hot rumor. We thought it was happening with Nintendo. I don't see that happening.
The only way.
PlayStation's gonna come out with their own.
Oh, they are.
Yeah,
They're working on it
they
right
do.
now.
Yeah.
But
kind of in a way,
so
right?
Devil's
They're
have
getting rid of what's it called? PlayStation. Now?
PlayStation Now. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're consolidating it. It's called like Project Spartacus. They're making a Game Pass competitor, right? But Devil's Advocate, EA Access is on PlayStation, right? So it's not unprecedented for another platform another subscription model to be there. The only way it ever happens is if Microsoft strong arms and says the only way you're getting Activision games and Bethesda games is if they're on Game Pass, and you get a cut of it. Like you take $5 for everybody who subscribes to Game Pass on PlayStation. You take 5 of the 15, whatever. Obviously, there's gonna be a fee to host that service on PlayStation Store. Obviously, you buy V-Bucks right now on PlayStation, they get a cut of that. That's how it works, right? So the only way that it happens if Microsoft does a strong arm and says, "Hey, man, you can still play Call of Duty, you can still have all these, but they gotta be via Game Pass." Which
I think that's more likely than some of the other things we've talked about tonight.
Right.
Again, I don't think Phil Spencer's doing that tomorrow, but I think we're talking a few years down the line.
It could evolve into that, right? Yeah, I could see it.
Hey Siri, remind me in 2024.
It's interesting. This next gen is like, have we ever seen the industry be shooken up so drastically in such a small amount of time? And like, this is stuff that we've kind of talked about for a while. Like, we've always talked about, like, what if these companies start consolidating and what it looks like, and when Game Pass was in its inception, does it end up in other platforms, and how does that change the way we buy games? It is fascinating, man. I cannot wait to see what the industry looks like in 2 years from now.
Like I said,
add a little asterisk to be continued because they're not done supposedly. So
right, that's a great point. That's a great point.
We're just getting started here, folks.
Mhm.
Like this, buckle up. Like
Konami.
I said, it's a
right.
good time to start.
What I would do is play
video game podcast.
another good Castlevania game, or another good Metal Gear game.
I mean,
Hold your breath.
Metal Gear 1 remastered.
Metal Gear with Kojima back behind the helm, because
Oh
you stripped
my
that away from
gosh.
Konami, so all that bad blood's gone. Come on, you kidding me right now?
Yeah, sign me up.
Dream come true.
All right. You guys want to get into Pokemon Legends Arceus?
Yeah, that game's
there's
cool.
a Pokemon game that came out recently.
Yeah,
No. This is
I
all
do.
speculation. I'm gonna pass this off to John to run because I have nothing to say because I have nothing to contribute. So I'm just gonna sit back. Have at it, boys.
So I'm on the record, even on this show, of saying that I did not believe that Pokemon Arceus was going to hit. When the trailers first came out, so they dropped this announcement the same day they dropped the Diamond and Pearl remix. Like, okay, 2 new Pokemon games. One is a faithful recreation of Gen 4, so what you're already used to. But this next one, man, this has some Breath of the Wild vibes. Like, this might be that open world, more grown up Pokemon game that people have been asking for years. I didn't believe it. I think I mentioned earlier that, like, I just expected Pokemon to just keep churning out the same formula because it prints money. You know, Pokemon at the end of the day is a kid's game, and you have to dig more if you want more from it. If you want to shiny hunt and you want to get the perfect IVs and stuff like that, that's how you make Pokemon more of a deeper game, right? That's always the way it's been. So I did not expect Arceus to do much, and I am happy to say that I was wrong. It is really, really good, and it's really, really different. The formula is, like, it is such a deviation from what we're used to in Pokemon, man. Like, you're out there, you're running around the wild. The goal, like the Pokedex is so much cooler. Like, you have every Pokemon has multiple different tasks that you have to complete its entry. So the whole point of the game is just exploring and finding new Pokemon and filling out the Pokedex. But it's not just by catching one of them; it's by doing exploration-based tasks and, like, using Pokemon you weren't used to. The story's super interesting. The environments are, I think, awesome. There's a discourse going on right now that the game's ugly and it looks like a GameCube game. I don't know who is taking this game and Breath of the Wild side by side and telling me that there's a huge difference in the way these games look. Like, I get the environments are a little barren, and, you know, it's whatever. It's a Nintendo game. They're limited by horsepower. They don't care about being top of the line graphically and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. Some of the complaints I've seen about the visuals, I'm just like, did you guys play Sword and Shield? Like, when was the last time you played a Pokemon game? This is like 2 generations ahead of its time. But I don't know. I'm having a blast with it. I'm only, I would say, well, I'm hours-wise, I'm deep into it because I've been shiny hunting and stuff like that. But I'm probably only a quarter of the way, if not maybe halfway through the story. So I'm digging it. It's a huge breath of fresh air for the Pokemon series. It's a lot of fun. Tim, where are you at with it?
Yeah, similar thing. So kind of on your topic too, you kind of get the people on Twitter that are the Pokemon fanatics that loved it. We kind of talked about before we started this, is that you get the people that drive through to get coffee, or you go to somewhere that's a retail sales and you want to, make their life miserable. That's kind of how I view the Pokemon community sometimes, in a sense that if you want to find something wrong with it, you will. And I think that's kind of the issue with a lot of games sometimes, is that people look for things to be wrong opposed to just kind of enjoying the ride. I love it. I really do. I think it's just more, I think, in my opinion, I don't know how you feel, John, but I think it's more relaxing than a lot of other Pokemon games
No
I've
doubt.
played.
Just the vibe.
You just get on and just do whatever you want.
It's
like you just do whatever.
Right. Yes. Like the
You
structure.
don't have to fight every Pokemon.
Right.
The part of the challenge is not to fight every Pokemon.
Exactly. Because like you
and they have,
were
like a stealth component. Like, hey, get this one from the grass.
It is
like that's just awesome.
And like
you don't have to
skill level wise, it is a difficult Pokemon game comparatively, right? Like you can't. I think I'm just like in line with where I should be in the main story, and I got to a point where I'm like, yo, I'm in this wild area, and I'm a level 27. Everything around here is like a 35. I'm for the first time since 1999, I'm under leveled in a Pokemon game. Like
Right.
it's crazy.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they have the alphas, I think they call them.
Yes.
That are kind of roaming through, and like the first time I ran in one, I'm like, oh, not a big deal. Like I'll just avoid it, and the thing freaking blew like a giant fireball at me.
It's
I'm
a
like,
big
okay,
deal.
Like
it was probably the Rapidash,
maybe
right?
I'm gonna die. Yes, it was actually the Rapidash.
It happened to me too.
But it was just awesome. Like again, I kind of agree with John a little bit that the world is kind of barren, but I appreciate the fact that maybe they didn't focus on putting stuff in the world and focused on like the mechanics of the world.
The stuff to do,
a little
right?
more. Yeah, and I just feel like the game flows very well. Like it's meant to be an exploration game, which I feel like is what Pokemon always kind of should have been. It should have been about discovery and finding the Pokemon. And I just like the fact that you're going, like, for example, I'm at a part now where I need to get to another area and I have to go through the lower level area. There's
Right.
still incentive for me to stay in the lower level area to
For sure.
catch and finish the Pokédex. And then
So-
you have people in the village with side quests, and the point of the side quest is, hey, this person you're filling the side quest out that's really interested in this Pokemon, it's going to fill that Pokédex entry,
Yeah.
which is kind of
Like,
cool.
so just quick sidebar. There's side missions. There's tons of side missions. Everywhere you go, there's a character like with a little exclamation point saying, "Hey, can you bring me this Pokemon? I want to, bring me a big version of it. Bring me a small." Like there's so much incentive to go out and do something different, and you get good rewards for that. But just to touch on the other point, that this game makes you want to fulfill the promise that Pokemon has always been, right? Catch them all. You boot up Pokemon Red, the first idea that you are given is that I'm Professor Oak. This is my brand new invention called the Pokedex, which they retconned that here, obviously. But your job is to go out there and catch them all. Help me learn about Pokemon. Let's discover this world. And then you're immediately sidetracked with like this big boss, and like collecting the Pokemon and filling out the Pokedex takes a backseat, and it always has. That has never been a focus of Pokemon, even though that's the tagline of the game, gotta catch them all. And that's the first thing you're introduced is the Pokedex and go fill it out. But actually, no, don't worry about that. Like, here's the actual story of the game. That's just kind of what we do to market the game, right? So this is the first game that actually makes you feel like, yo, completing the Pokedex is the point of the game. Yeah, there's a story going on. Like, I want to figure out what's going on in this Hisui region and how it eventually becomes, what's the region called in Gen 4? I forget, whatever. Someone's going to say it in the comments. But so this is a previous region. Whatever Gen 4 was, this is what that region was like 200 years ago. But like there's so many little breadcrumbs story-wise that are fun to see. Like there's characters in this game that like are definitely like the familial lineage of characters we'll see in Gen 4 in the future and stuff like that. It's just so deep, but for me it's the promise and actually acting on the fact that you are here to catch every Pokemon, but not just catch them, learn about them, do these specific tasks, and fill out the Pokedex in a very different way. It's refreshing. If you have any interest in Pokemon, if you've ever enjoyed a Pokemon game, pick this up because you're going to love this. I don't see how you don't. I don't see how you've ever enjoyed an hour of Pokemon and picked this up and don't like it. And on the flip side of that, if you've never been into Pokemon and the games have been just a little too ABC, a little too elementary for you, man, Joe, that's you, man. You raised your hand.
Like this. Yeah.
Try this game. It is different. It is so different, and I think it's very, very good. Like, obviously, it's a meme to say this, but like, game of the year candidate. Obviously, it's only 1 month in the year, but I can see it being in that conversation for me towards the end of the year. I'm having such a good time with it that like, this is a good game.
John, I think honestly, like, it's so funny. Like, I think some of the reactions on the internet are funny because they're all over the place, but like really largely it's been positive.
It has
for the most part, like especially as we've gotten away just a little bit of time away from release here, like it's already starting to settle in, and I feel like there was not a ton of hype around this. There was hype, but like it wasn't like anything crazy. And I've never disliked Pokemon. I've just never been into it. But I really appreciate, as I've always said, when certain fandoms like get something that they love. So Pokemon fans who are having fun with this, I feel good.
Yeah,
I think one
I
thing.
appreciate that.
no doubt. I
Yeah.
get you.
I think one thing I want to add too that's kind of an underrated thing that we don't think about, the fact that you have to throw the Pokeball. Like that seems like such a minute thing.
Yes.
The reality that you have to pick and choose, like you could lock on, but just the fact that you're aiming a Pokeball,
Right.
there's incentive to like throw other things, like throw a piece of food that they may like, and that'll encourage, like they'll distract him. Like if they're
Yes.
sleeping, it's a better time to throw a Pokeball or like hit him from the back. Like
the core
just-
idea of
it's so
Pokemon
minor.
is about catching Pokemon, and the
Yes.
way it's always worked in every game besides Pokemon Go is just go into a menu, click on the Pokeball, and click use, and that was throwing the Pokemon. And again, that's fine. That makes sense. That's how we take care of that mechanic in those games. But you are literally crouching in tall grass, trying not to. It's a stealth game. You're trying not to be seen, and you're throwing Pokeballs at the back of Pokemon's head
then
very violently. Very cool.
Finding out,
but
hey,
it's awesome.
can I catch this Pokemon without fighting them? And if you throw the Pokeball and they break out, it's not like, oh,
It's
well,
on.
maybe I used the wrong ball. It's like, hey,
Right.
maybe this one's aggressive. I got to fight it, and then I have to get it low and then throw the Pokeball. Like there's
Exactly.
a level to it.
And then there's also like, so many times I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try to catch this thing, but if it doesn't like that and wants to fight me, I'm out. I'm hopping on my weird deer and I'm just busting out of here.
Yep.
So the game's very open. It's very different. Can't recommend it enough. I can't wait to finish it, man. Like, but I'm taking my time with it. I've been shiny hunting for a while. I've been stuck on like a Scyther nest that I just keep relaunching the game for. That's another thing that's cool.
Wife, but it's coming to work with me tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely, better. So shiny hunting is something that I've always had a lot of fun with the Pokemon. So they made it. I wouldn't say easy, just so much more streamlined to shiny hunt Pokemon in this game. Anytime you see those outbreaks, have you seen an outbreak yet, Tim? So if you're coming from Jubilee City and you talk to the guard to leave, he'll say like, "Be careful out there. There's one of those outbreaks." If you look at the map, there'll be an icon with a specific Pokemon, and that Pokemon just keeps spawning in that location, just like an outbreak of that Pokemon. Cool. If you go to those outbreaks, it's twice as likely for a shiny of that Pokemon to spawn. And then if you have the Pokedex entry already complete for that Pokemon, it's twice as likely again. So shiny hunting is sweet in this game. I think that's gonna I think
I think back to Sword. I never got a shiny just because it was so difficult. Like,
yeah. Again, there's methods.
One shiny.
There's methods to like chaining Pokemon and stuff like that in Sword and Shield, but it's just so convoluted. And again, I did it because I'm a stupid nerd, but like this game streamlines it a lot.
Nerd.
I'm a stupid nerd. That's what I am.
Nice guy Joe, you're a stupid nerd too.
Can't say enough good things about this game.
It's a nice guy, Joe.
Kidding, I'm sorry.
Like,
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see the Dark Lord, Revenge of the Sith Lord.
Dark
Joe.
Lord Sith Joe would go at you, but I'm nice guy Joe right now, so I'm just gonna cry a little. But that's all right.
Those are the thoughts there. I mean, it's very good. Yeah. I think it's very refreshing to see a new take on Pokemon and having it be executed in a way I think is dope.
I think it's a good step in. I think it's a good step in if you haven't played Pokemon in a while and you want to dive back in. It's a good entry point.
Agreed. My I just hope that they keep this formula for the future. And I know it's a side game. It technically isn't a mainline Pokemon game, but like I hope they take a lot of what's here and bring that to the mainline.
Imagine what they could do with it. That's what I think of. Like the where you can go from here thing when you play the game is like there's so much opportunity. So.
Did you guys play new Pokemon Snap?
Mm-mm.
I have it downloaded. I've been wanting to boot that up, and I just never got to it. I love
the game
Pokemon
where you
Snap.
take the pictures of the Pokemon.
Yes, I did buy that, and knowing it's not a traditional Pokemon game, by the way.
Right.
And I had fun with it. Like I had I bought it, and I think we had like a family road trip right afterwards. So like when I wasn't driving, that's what I played in the car. It was a good time. Nothing too crazy.
That's one game that I'll get into for sure at one point, but I haven't booted it up yet. I love the first one.
I
get to kind of enjoy the. Well, Tim,
just being honest here, Listen, my backlog is long, so
some things are better left unsaid on the podcast.
Okay.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I think I feel like that might be a good game if you want to get into the lore. Like if you're a newbie like me, a little bit.
Yeah.
Like.
Pokemon Snap, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's definitely a very casual, like, intro to Pokemon in terms of like there's no challenge to it. It's you're on rails
No.
taking pictures of Pokemon. Again, it's a
Right.
Pokemon game, so it's as deep as you want it to. Like if you want to get everything done, uncheck everything, there's tons of secrets in those levels. There's plenty to do there, but surface level, they're pretty vanilla games. But Joe, I think that there's a world where you like this game a lot, to be honest. Arceus,
Hey,
I'm saying.
I'm open-minded. I'm open to anything. I'm open to trying anything. Even Cuphead, which I have. So
Ooh.
yeah, Tim. I don't know if you know. I tried it. I started like last weekend. I had like an hour, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna start a game. Uncharted's coming out, and that's where I went.
Ooh, Cuphead.
Cuphead. He got real far.
No success, but a lot
Cuphead is
a lot
hard
of,
when
a lot of fun.
If you like the platformers, that's a challenging one.
All about
It really is.
what-
It's a
all
lot of
about
fun.
it.
Yeah,
Me
pretty
too.
much. JT, any thoughts or questions on Pokemon?
I'm excited for it. I'm a victim of like sticking with the old lore and what I'm used to. So the typical, like John said, I played all the Pokemon games nonstop back in the day. I'm a little nervous to get into something different, but at the same time, I feel like whenever you guys just suggested something to me, I've liked it, so I can't. Say no.
It's not new in a sense where like you're
It's a
not
good
gonna.
different.
Yeah, you're not gonna. It's not like, oh, what is this? This isn't even Pokemon anymore. It's similar enough to what's going on. Yeah, but
Right.
the structure is where it's different. Like they just
I think
open
it
you up to.
refreshes the series.
So the
It's
gym battles,
it's a
one thing we
refresh.
told me no training and no battling between trainers. I was like,
So there are
that's
some
what I know.
there are some trainer battles. They're in the story, so that's definitely a thing. There's no there's no routes where you're just walking through and there's just trainers just
Running
standing
into people
just
or
yeah
something
exactly.
like
Which, in my opinion, got annoying in Pokemon sometimes. Like,
100%.
you just want to do something, and it's like, oh, you got to fight this guy. Got to
Yeah,
fight this
so
guy. Gotta
to me,
fight him.
they-
just waiting for you.
Like you can now
robots.
gain XP for your Pokemon by just catching other Pokemon and like and doing side quests and stuff like that. It was always so frustrating. Like, I want to level up. Let me go just kill this wild Pidgey 40 times to get one more XP for my Charmander. Like, it's so frustrating. Like, that was the only way to level up, and it was a grind. With old Pokemon games, I would literally just walk around a field, not even look at my screen, and just keep mashing A, and just let my Charizard or Charmander use Ember or Fire Blast and just destroy things just to level up. Like,
And then he's level 50, and everyone else is level 20.
exactly. So they trimmed all the fat. That's really at the end of the day, they trimmed all the fat in Pokemon. They made all the stuff that was like grindy and annoying or even not even utilized well in the old games. They made that fun.
Makes sense.
As you can tell, me and John aren't a big fan. So
Yeah, we don't like it. Don't buy it.
yeah, don't buy it. Waste of money.
I,
Never
on the other
again.
hand, am willing to stake my reputation on this being Game of the Year based on my own experience. I take back everything I said there.
Wait, what?
But no. Yeah, no. All right. Anything else?
I mean, like, it's sitting at an 85 Metacritic right now. Like, it's gonna be in that conversation for a lot of people. 100%.
I think there's like deals on it too. You get it for like $40 in some places right now too, right?
I don't know, but if you can do it for sure.
We'll do some research.
Thank you. Get back to me.
I mean,
And
there's a real universe where none of the games that we think that are heavy hitters this year are even going to come out. So like, there's a chance that God of War, Zelda, Starfield, all of those games are like sure hitters. Like, not Elden Ring or Horizon; those two are definitely coming out. But like 3 of those top dogs that people think are going to put up numbers if they come out, there's a good chance all 3 of them get delayed. So
Elden Ring. I bet Elden Ring's gonna win Game of the Year. That's book it.
those
ticket.
those nerds like those games a lot.
John, make a bet with Tim right now based on Suicide Wings about Elden Ring.
Done.
Oh, I
Game of
couldn't.
the Year.
I mean, I'll make the bet because I like the wings, so I'll try. Yeah, they were
I know,
good.
I'm not
So
opposed.
yeah,
I've been
yeah.
craving hot wings. So
I'll bet that Elden Ring does make Game of the Year. If it does, I'll eat 10 wings, and if it doesn't, I'll eat 9. How about that?
I want Elden Ring to win the Game of the Year.
I'm going to throw up.
So then
I don't
if
care.
We're both right. Joe eats wings.
I want the wings.
This?
We're
Get
gonna
out the
get
way.
into this.
It's
Tim,
ridiculous.
Tim, just tell me what I have to make the bet on, and I'm going to bet it. I want the wings.
Okay. All right, we're going to pivot. In that case, JT is going to have sponge candy.
No, the cannoli wants first. He said
He did the cannoli already.
What? Why
he wants a
share it. We'll share a box.
cannoli with
It'll be
sponge
romantic.
candy filling.
I guarantee that exists here in Buffalo. I bet you go to
Probably.
Parkside and get that.
That sounds amazing.
It does sound really good.
If anyone is watching and wants to get,
everywhere.
if anyone wants to get Nice Guy Joe a Valentine's Day gift, find that. That would be really great. I'd love you for it.
He'll be
All right,
extremely nice guy Joe. Just
probably too nice guy Joe.
Yeah.
Are we good on Pokemon discussion?
Was that not enough? We can keep going.
No, we can go longer.
I just didn't want to like go
got
into
more.
the next thing.
No,
And then you
that's
guys be like, whoa, I didn't
no.
get this thought out.
Sorry.
This is a weird time for me. I should have just left.
we summed it up. I think we're good to go.
Sweet. All right. So we're basically gonna wrap up this episode of Busy Sticks. What an episode it was! For the first time, we've got all 4 guys from the Geekiverse right here talking about the latest in video games. If you're watching at twitch.tv/thegeekiverse, don't leave, because we're just getting started, folks. We're going to talk about the GOAT. I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about Star Wars The Phantom Menace. I couldn't even get there. And if you're catching our Star Wars reviewed series on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts, that is going to be a great discussion. I
Can't
know
wait.
it right now, and I can't wait to get into it.
You don't have to wait long, my friend.
I'm already pod racing in my mind.
Awesome.
That's pretty wizard, Tim. Pretty wizard.
Pretty
All right.
wizard.
Do you like that in Boba Fett? Did you catch that, John?
No, I missed that in Boba Fett.
All right. I don't care. I'm going to tell you right now. So,
I saw the
Mando-
episode, so I just missed it.
well,
I didn't
anyone who
watch the
did.
episode. It's okay.
Mando brings the
Well, for
ship
everyone,
back,
Joe.
Okay.
and what's her name goes, "Was that cool or what?" Something like that, and he goes, "Wizard," and I lost it.
Oh my god!
I know!
What an episode for callbacks to a
So
specific
the
thing.
Phantom Menace, most
I
of all.
was trying not to spoil it, but okay.
No, I'm gonna put it out there. I don't care.
All right.
So
I need to watch.
We're not going that far
What's
into
it, JT?
spoilers. We're done. We're done.
I do need to watch it. I still need to watch it.
All right. That's
JT
it.
still has to finish Phantom Menace. So hurry up. We got to record soon.
No, not
All
that.
right, John, where can we find you on social media? Anything you want to plug for the Geekiverse?
At Disruptoid on all social medias. Follow the Geekiverse on TikTok. What do you do? Grow up. Download TikTok. Stop resisting. Stop being one of those millennials who's like, oh, TikTok is for the kids. Download TikTok. It's awesome. Sink your life away. Follow us on the Geekiverse. We're at the Geekiverse. Can't miss it. I'm having fun on TikTok. I'm posting stuff. I'm making all sorts of videos. Follow us there. That's my pitch. Do it.
You know what?
Do it.
If you don't download it, you're dead to me. I mean,
He
I
is not nice guy Joe. when
haven't
you do not
downloaded it, but you should. JT, social media brother.
You can find me at John _OTS on Instagram and Twitter. But of course, you can just find me over here on all these podcasts on the Geekverse.
I like that. I think that's a good way to go. Oh, Tim, we got a visitor. Who we got there?
Puppy.
Harper, this is my show and tell.
Aw. So audio listeners,
I gotta go hug Lindy now.
there's a dog in the stream.
I'm
You have
sorry, Lindy. I didn't mean it.
That's okay.
It's okay. Tim, you've been streaming a great deal here recently for the Geekiverse. Talk about that, and then also, if people want to get that, well, they can't get that shirt, but they can get similar
You
shirts.
get some shirts from Fantastique.
That's right.
Is where we got this from. So it's a Venom Buffalo, which is pretty awesome. So, but yeah, I've been playing some video games, some video games on the good old Twitcheroonie. Trying to play whatever kind of comes to mind. I think I played a little bit of Pokemon. I think that'll probably be the last Pokemon I play. It's just I enjoy it more playing, relaxing. I think that was probably more of a showcasing what it is and stuff like that. But I think I may finish Horizon Zero Dawn on the Twitch.
Ooh.
good old Twitch.
I'll be there
So-
for that. That might be
I
my
wanna
my
say 'cause
refresher.
I was gonna say that's gonna serve as a recap for me selfishly.
So, but I've been diving in that a little bit because I got to finish it. So, but I'm at Tim Tales on a lot of things. I think multiple Twitters. So I got one for gaming, one for personal stuff, which is a lot of Bill's content and retweeting the Geekiverse and a lot of that fun stuff. And catch me on these podcasts and all the fun stuff we do. So,
Ladies and gentlemen, if you like Tim's shirt, go find similar shirts to that at 26shirts.com. Every shirt you
Yes.
buy goes to a family. The proceeds go to a family in need, a charity, an individual. I can't tell you the impact that 26 Shirts, our good friend Del Reed, has had on the Western New York community and past that. They've raised $1.3 million, a little less than 8 years, that have gone to these individuals, families, and charities. Very good friends of the show here. If you like that, go to 26 Shirts. If you like my shirt, go to the geekiverse.storeenvy.com. We've got over 20 designs in there, from video games to Marvel to Star Wars, you name it. Go check that out, the geekiverse.storeenvy.com. For me, on social media, I've got a new handle. It's been a long time.
No
changed it.
way.
Why'd you
I
tell me?
changed it. I changed it to make it consistent with my Xbox and PlayStation names. I am Brozaya.
Yes, he is.
You can find me on Twitter. I am Brozaya. Trying to get my dad to get a Twitch account and make it Brozaya's dad because I think that would just be great. Selfishly.
Does
That'd
that
be
make
awesome.
you like him, your dad?
What?
What?
Is that a little too advanced?
I would like to drink whatever you're drinking there from over
It's,
half.
it's actually other half. Yeah.
Other half. God.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right. So, lots going on at the Geekiverse. If you like Star Wars, catch Star Wars Reviewed. We're about to record it live. We've got 3 episodes in so far. We've touched on the original trilogy. We're going to get into the prequels, baby. Phantom Menace time. Can't wait to talk about my notes on that one. Holy moly. Also streaming at twitch.tv/Geekiverse. If you are a fan of video games in general, hope you go back, watch youtube.com/thegeekiverse. John and I were able to record our 10th episode of Busy Sticks with one Greg Miller from Kind of Funny, one of our biggest inspirations, the coolest guy in gaming. What an episode. What a moment that was. Check that out. And of course, listen to our podcast on podcast services around the globe. For John, JT, and Tim, I'm Josiah. We will catch you all soon. Have a wonderful night.